Alright, this is the 2020 year of gardening. It's my first good garden. And we've needed to do a video, kind of document how things are going so I can go back and look at it and see what I screwed up and do a little better next year. So we're going to pull all the radishes. They're obviously going to flower, seed, so we'll do that first. Alright, so what we have on the right side is white tip radishes. And on the left side, we've got the Easter egg blend, and they were both planted on the 2nd of last month. So, you know, about 35 days, 36 days or something, and they're gone to seed. So they're early, I would think, but it doesn't matter. We got to get them out so we can plant something else. I've been having a pretty serious problem about this, so if anybody knows why the radishes are all doing that, let me know. They've done this all year. I haven't had very good luck with radishes anywhere on my yard, let alone the grow bag here. This is a 15-gallon Vivo Sun grow bag. I actually really like it. I was gonna probably do more. Hey, look at that guy. We got a good one. Probably the best radish I've had all year. This is what we got over here. I got a little bit of a pile, but I'd say 50-50. Half of them grew, half of them didn't. And the ones that did grow aren't very good looking. But we'll take it. Carrots in here. A little pepper plant that survived. We've got some black Concord seedless grapes that just went in this year. And below it there, that is asparagus. Surprisingly, it worked, a little bit of it. Now, the results weren't great, but they worked. Another Concord grape. And what's left of my cilantro. And that, excuse me, was supposed to be basil, but I think it was just so hot right from the start it never really grew. We had radishes in between the carrots and the basil, but we've already pulled those up. We've got some tomatoes. That is a Crimson Kush beefsteak that just will not grow. These pots are terrible. Never grow in anything smaller than a 5-gallon. Next to it, that little teeny baby is a yellow pear, but it's too late in the year. And here comes our bubble man. You got your bubble machine? Vroom vroom! Vroom vroom! No bubbles, but he loves it. Then next to that, we have a super sweet 100 cherry tomato. And just a regular cherry tomato. I don't think it was labeled. And they seem to be doing good this year. I've got a lot of tomatoes off of both of these. We'll walk over here and take a look. I know they don't look the healthiest, but I've been plucking the heck out of these for what seems like months. So they've done fairly well, actually. Right here, we have a Santa Rosa plum tree that just went in this year. And it's just starting to put off some fresh sprouts. I honestly can't remember what this is. I think it's some type of raspberry. I can't remember it. I have to go check my book. We have another one here. They look very sickly, but they are coming back, just barely. I'm hoping they're gonna sprout up now that the temps will start cooling down. And those two are the same. They were a type of raspberry. Excuse me, I'd have to get the book. Remember what the heck I planted. Another little healthy plant. We'll label maybe in the video. And this is a grafted cherry tree. And we've got on one side a Van cherry, and on the other side a black Tartarian cherry. And it's just starting to bloom off. Now we've got some carrots right here that went in just barely over a month ago, so they'll be late season. Brussels sprouts, we're going to pop the leaves off of that anytime, even though it didn't grow real well. We're running out of time to get the sprouts to form. We've got a Super Sweet 100 tomato, and this thing has been through hell, and it's coming back. We're going to get some more tomatoes, and another one of its friends, another Super Sweet 100. Then below that, what was literally just a single leaf sticking out of the ground. Looks to be a pretty nice, healthy little plant, and I just... Hi, are you going vroom vroom? I think that is a beefsteak tomato or a Brandywine pink. I can't remember, honestly. No, it's not a potato leaf, so that's beefsteak. Then next to it, the kid broke my plant tag, as you can tell, so I can't remember. Bought this at the local Do It Best store. I'm sorry, he's doing laps around me. That is a little Tiny Tim, and it went into shock and thought it was a fresh plant again. So even though it's a determinant, it decided to rebloom a second time. I've got a couple that did that. This is a San Marzano, and it's just starting to produce, just barely. And we've got 3 more Super Sweet 100s that I'm trying to work up this trellis, but it has been 90-95 degrees for the last couple of weeks, and we haven't had any luck. My apologies. I feel like this thing is going terrible because of this noisy, terribly noisy little thing. Anyway, we got some Brussels sprouts right here. And if we come around, we've got, I think it's a jalapeno, but as you can see, the awesome permanent marker I wrote on the tag has completely sun faded away. That is a little bell pepper, if I'm not mistaken. There's a tiny, 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 tiny little yellow pear tomato there. It's just not doing so hot. And another plant tag that got broke off and blew away. This is a banana pepper. And obviously this year has been so stinking hot, hardly anything grew. Not to mention the fact that the dirt in this bed is probably 75% from my local nursery, which sold me sand and mud. Like zero organic material, and I've had to amend it with a little bit of the Nutrimulch, but I didn't really put much in there at the time. Jalapeno, I'm pretty sure. And today is 8/9/20. Alright, there's bed number 1. As you can see, our not so healthy white scallop squash, which was probably one of the tastiest ones I had, but we got 2 off of it early in the season, and it's just been fighting for life ever since. I think it's the heat, honestly, and crappy soil mix, not enough fertilizer, probably a whole world of different reasons this went to hell. Got another one down at the other end, looks just like it pretty much. And going down this bed, we've got watermelons. And I just noticed we actually have one starting to grow. No, it's a pumpkin. We got a pumpkin right there. As far as I know, it's the only pumpkin we got this year. That plant really struggled. And then intertwined with the pumpkin, we have a watermelon. And I think the tag's gone. But there's no watermelons this year, just a big plant. Next to it we have, I think it was a heart of gold cantaloupe. And we got a couple of those. There's one right in there. One right down here, one right there, one right here, and I think one over here, and one there. So the cantaloupe seems to be doing really good. This side is the Hale's Best Jumbo, and this other one over here was the Hearts of Gold. And then if we keep going, we've got 3 different jalapeno plants here. I'm sorry, not different, 3 the same type. We put some spinach in at the bottom row. So the spinach is just coming on. We really have enjoyed that. I can't remember what the heck that is. Didn't mark it, and I'm an idiot, but it's a herb. That's a nice plump basil plant just started to go to seed, and a couple others that we cloned off of some ones we trimmed. And this beautiful little guy is the Calendula Pacific Beauty Orange. A couple little red fuzzy plants we got at Home Depot. And California Mission Bells Poppy. Some chamomile. Another one of our Tiny Tims that literally went into shock when I planted it and then rebloomed a second round for the year. It's almost like we tricked a determinant into producing a second time. And this one down here is a Calosa plumosa, I guess. And it's just starting to bloom. That is bed 2. Okay, this is our center bed. We did a row of carrots all the way along the back here. Then in front of it, we've got, let's see, on the end, we got SMR cucumbers, Wisconsin SMR cucumbers on both of those, and then a muncher right in here, and another muncher that burned like hell in the heat, and we've got some kohlrabi that we planted in here to try to get a fall crop. It's been really hot, but I think it's going to be all right. Next to that, there's a little bit of Utah celery that we planted earlier in the year, and it just didn't do worth the garbage. And when I was thinning it out, I pulled a couple over here. You'll see the others in a moment. On the end here, we have a Brandywine Pink that was just an extra. It's not even trellised. It's been too hot. It's been dropping buds and hasn't put up a single tomato this year, but it looks like it's going to actually maybe produce 1 or 2 in the next month. Now we'll go around to the other side of this bed. All right, along here we did some more spinach. It's just starting to come in. It didn't really come up very evenly. We got some gaps, but it's all right. There's a Crimson Kush beefsteak tomato on the end. Another Crimson Kush beefsteak right next to it. Then we've got a Super Sweet 100, and we'll move you down here. And then a black cherry tomato, which honestly, the ones I've got so far taste like garbage. Really haven't enjoyed those at all. A Brandywine Pink right here, and another Brandywine Pink right here. So I'm hoping that those really start rocking at the end of the year here. Across the bottom, all the way across and out into this area, we have got some Cherokee wax bush beans hiding underneath the tomatoes here that are contender bush beans. You can just barely see. Right there. But honestly, most of my beans this year have died. I think I've overwatered. That's my guess. Overwatering and high heat. It's my first try. Give me a break here. Okay, down on the end, we've got ruby red Swiss chard and a grow bag, another one of those 15-gallon grow bags of rutabaga. And those were planted on the 30th, so they're only, what, about 18 days old. Right here, these beautiful big old buggers, these are probably the healthiest plants in the whole yard right now, are some more white scallop squashes that I put in on, would you look at that, I didn't write the date, but probably May, I would say. And they really didn't grow well for a long time and then just blew up. There's one here and a second over there. They're really tightly packed. And then when I thinned them, I stuck one over here and it's popping up. Right next to that, doing very poorly, is a Heart of Gold cantaloupe that it's just going to be too late for it this year. Then we've got some red, I think it's called Weatherspoon onion, and some Texas early onions. These are supposed to be whole onions. I think they're long season crops, but as you can see, they're just some tiny itty bitty little things. So that's probably not going to fly this year. We're not going to get anything out of those. Across the back row is more beans, and they are more contender bush beans, and as you can see, they just look like garbage and have been there for a long time. So I don't know if it was just the wicked heat and not getting any rain this summer. We just watered like hell, but beans did not do well for me, and neither did peas. Here we've got our cabbage, or I'm sorry, spinach, and we really enjoyed that. That was super good. It's Avon spinach, but it's pretty much all gone to seed. It's had its day already. We've got some others planted, and some more ruby red Swiss chard. But I gotta be honest, I haven't enjoyed it that much. A little tough, a little tart. So, and then behind that, we've got our row of corn that was just a splurge. Here, I'm gonna have to back up to give you a better shot of that one. Let's go over around the back here. Yeah, it's gorgeous. But it's only one row, so the likelihood is it probably won't pollinate very well. Gosh, I can't zoom out enough. Oh, there we go. I was zoomed in. So that's a 1 foot bed. I'm about 5'8". So not the tallest. Anyways, right below that in the 2 buckets, on the left, we've got another heart of gold cantaloupe. And on that cantaloupe, there is a little guy hanging there, another little guy, one in the back. And then as you can see right next to that, we've got lemon cucumbers, which haven't done well at all, but we have harvested a couple. That's the north side garden, except the tomatoes. And over here we have a Crimson Kush beefsteak. Right underneath our Red Delicious apple, I think. This is probably the best apple tree we got. Followed by a Super Sweet 100, another one that did really good. So cherries tomatoes seem to have done fine in these 3.5 gallon pots, but they're not going to get used next year because we're having to water them twice a day all summer. 3 times when it's a really hot day. This one right here is just a red cherry tomato, and it's done pretty good. We've got a lot of tomatoes off it. This here is the giant Belgian, and we had one pretty good sized tomato grow on it, but the birds had at it before I was able to pick it. Another regular cherry tomato, and that is like a 2 gallon pot, and it has, I can't believe the thing even lived. As you can see, it's done. And this one is a Brandywine Pink, and also didn't do worth a squat. We got 1 tomato off it, and it was small and cracked. This is just a bush that's been here since I bought the property, and we have no idea what it is. Puts off some nice pretty white flowers though. This is our red seedless grape, and it is gorgeous. Honestly, we bought this from the nursery locally, and for 5 years all it did was put off a couple little leaves a year. I thought it was about to die, and this last year it blew up, and this year it blew up. So I guess I really need to learn how to prune grapes and get this thing to put off some nice fat healthy clusters, because I just seem to be getting a lot of little grapes on all my vines. In the little pot there we've got some dino kale, and it went in just over a month ago, so it'll be late season. And I think this was a California Beauty or something like that. Kind of a nifty flower. It grew really large and healthy, but has real tiny little flowers on it. This is where we put in some sunburst squash, and that was done about 10 days ago. Now we got to thin those pretty quick. They're just right in the middle of the backyard here. And some more. We'd actually planted some Quaking aspen trees right here, and then decided that it was a bad idea. So we got rid of those. A friend of mine has some, and there was roots all over his lawn, and just decided we didn't want that. This here is called the Green Spire Linden, the Tilia cordata tree. It's going to be beautiful. So we planted that about 2 months ago, and it looked like it was a goner, and then just in the last 2 weeks it has started putting off some nice green leaf, nice fresh little perky ones. So I think this thing's going to be awesome. It'll probably be our favorite tree on the property in a few years. We have an old apple tree. Next year we're going to spray a little, see if we can't do a little better. But as you can see with the trunk of this monster, it has been here a while. I couldn't tell you how old this tree is, but it's got some years on it. Hey buddy, where are you going? Vroom, vroom. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Everything's closed back there, you can't go nowhere, buddy. The bugs will get you. The neighbor has some vines across the fence right here, and then they fade into grapes down at the end. They are seeded, but still super tasty. And then here, it's hard to see, we have a nectarine tree. It was also here when we got home. It's not real healthy. We're gonna have to do something about that this year. So we'll clean it up, but we're just about to get a harvest off of that bad boy. And then we'll pass over here to the other garden. And we got 2 rows of sweet corn here. And as you can see, as they go to the right, they get quite smaller. And that's just simply that there's not as much light getting to this right side. There's a lot of trees on our south side of our yard, so it doesn't get a lot of light over here. Strawberry patch. We had 4 different types of strawberries, probably I think 20 or so plants, and all but 3 or 4 of them have died. I think the soil here held way too much water. We did a hugel culture and made our own soil with peat moss, coco-coir, bag mix, all that good stuff, and I think it just held too much water and they drowned. We did not do well on strawberries this year. We got a few. Down here we've got some round zucchini squash, 3 little plants that went in on 7/12. Probably would be doing a lot better if they were on the other side of the yard. And some potatoes, and they are starting to tip over. I think I let them dry out a little bit, but it's also getting late in the year, so it might be harvest time. Last time I pulled one to check on them, they were just tiny little things, so they weren't doing very good. Down here we got a couple different types of cucumbers. They seem to be doing terrible. This is actually the 3rd batch I planted. I think the first ones went in too early and rotted because it was too cold. The second ones I overwatered, and these ones seem to be doing all right. The end there is a lemon cucumber, and I can't remember what this one is. That was a little pickling cucumber. Once again, I didn't tag any of these, like an idiot. Earwigs really tore that up when it was a little plant, but we got them off and kind of salvaged it, and it came back, but still not doing very well. So that's one of these 4-foot cattle gates or whatever, and you can see they're like 1.5 feet off the ground at most. Last year we planted some Green Mountain boxwood, and that one didn't make it. Those 3 seem to do really well, so they're gonna be all right. And then down in front, I can't remember the name of these, but more of a bush. Those 3 were supposed to grow together into one nice big lime green bush. Here's our little creek area that we've fenced out to keep our boy out so he won't fall in the river and drown. And next year, or in the near future, we're planning on pavering this in and making a nice little hangout down here by the creek, because we're lucky enough to live right along the river. I call it my river, but it's more just a little creek here. But it's beautiful. It's really a nice little area. Temperature's much cooler on this side of the yard. Just don't get enough sun for the plants. Okay, this is our row of early sugar snap peas, if I remember right. And I think they've grown an inch in the past 3 weeks. I think the temperatures have just been too high. The first batch we did, we lost in frost, and then the second batch kind of produced. We got about 2 foot tall sprouts and got a nice bowl full one time. and that was that. So we tore them up and replanted, and it's just been sitting here. It's been too damn hot. Next to it, of course, you see another Brandywine Pink and a little like 2-gallon pot, which has just done terrible. Don't ever plant tomatoes in 2-gallon pots. And we got a jalapeno plant, a California Wonder bell pepper, another jalapeno, and I think an Anaheim on the end, to be honest, but it looks like jalapeno. So we got a lot of jalapenos this year. On this side, this is the first beds that we got this year. We got some cabbage that's getting completely ravaged by the worms. Every day I come out here and spray them off, but I have used 0 pesticides or chemicals. Next to that, we've got a bunch of dino kale going across the row and across the back. We've got a super sweet 100, 2 more Brussels sprouts. We just popped the leaves off these yesterday, so we're gonna see how they go. We'll pop the leaves off the other ones and then wait another week and do some more, just to space them out a little. More radishes that just didn't seem to like it. Again, some romaine lettuce that has been stunted from the heat, and what's left of a few yellow onions that we put in as bulbs this spring. Over on this side, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basil plants across here. They are just starting to go to seed. Behind those, we've got long, thin cayenne peppers that are just starting to pop off some little peppers on them. I've got the ox heart carrot at the back. We've got the imperator, something like that, in the front middle. And then the next row is the black nebulas. They haven't been quite as sweet, but still a good carrot, surprisingly, for the amazing purple color. Some long, thin onions and some more radishes. These are probably doing a little bit better. This here is our pear tree. I don't know what kind. It was here when we bought the home 15 years ago. And in the last few years, it has put off amazing pears. They are probably the best tasting pears I've ever ate in my life when they do produce. We only got a couple last year. The rest of them got hard and skin burned and fell to the ground. This year we've been watering and fertilizing, and things seem to look pretty happy. It's actually a big tree. We're gonna top all these off this year. That's gonna give us some fruit. There's Gyro. Hey, killing my plants again. So you see him take a nice leak on it there. There's a whole grip of plants over there. Let me tell you the quick story. He killed every one of those. We let him out in the winter on the porch, chained to the ropes, and he goes right out and tramples the plants, and has killed every single one of them. So there's 6 there that we've had to replace. And this year they finally seem to be doing good. And then over here we put in another row, and they all seem to be doing pretty good. Above that you can see the grape. This was here when we bought the home. We have no idea what it is, but it is, I don't know, fairly healthy, I would say. Get out of there, Gyro. Get out of there. This one, another one of those green bushes, I can't remember what it is. But yeah, this grape plant is actually ripe now. The grapes are good, but we only get tiny little grapes, so my problem is I think I need to prune them. They are seedless. So seedless green grapes, and they are great. Here is probably the best peach tree I've ever eaten in my life. Usually we're getting peaches about now, and this year they're just kind of still coming on. So that's about what they look like this year in August. Another plant I'd have to look up the name of, but we've got 2 of these outside the gate, 1 on each side here, and they're supposed to get like 15 feet tall when they're healthy. I just haven't found a place in the ground to plant them yet. Along the front of the house, we've got some more flowers here that don't seem to be the healthiest, but the bees love them. 2 basil plants in a clay pot. They were doing pretty good, but they've gone to seed. Another jalapeno plant. You can see lots of little jalapenos on there. The little man with his bubble motorcycle again. More flowers. And we had a type of poppy that just burned up, too hot. Some carrots we've been plucking out of this jar over the last little while. And oh gosh, what was this one here? We got the Pinto Premium White to Rose Geranium. And it did really good up until the last month of heat. Good job, buddy. Are you cleaning up? Good job. Thank you. In here we've got some California Wonder bell peppers and a type of Morning Glory vine. There we go. And it's going up along the porch here. We've got it on both sides, but it's also intertwined with the Mexican sour gherkin, the world's smallest melon. And let's see if we can find one. Yeah, there's one right here. Look at these little guys. Aren't they cute? That doesn't have much color to it. Doesn't look very good. There's one. That is the cutest darn little thing you ever did see. They should be getting harvestable pretty quick here. Some flowers. I can't remember what we planted there, but they didn't do very well. And we got some dino kale here. It was surrounded by something else that just didn't do well. We pulled it out. More sour gherkin. And just a little pot of flowers that we stuck together from some stuff at the local Home Depot. Let's see, jalapeno, I'm pretty sure. Canyon's over here trying to get out the gate, getting mobbed by hummingbirds. Don't think he realizes how many were just buzzing around him. And we had this in the house. These are the electric lime coleus, and we got 3 different varieties. This one developed the little gnat flies, so we've got it out here with some mosquito stuff in it. Trying to get rid of the gnats. Over here, we've got a hibiscus, or hibiscus, however you pronounce that. And it has done amazing. We got this at Diamond Nursery, I think it was. And look at that. Is that beautiful or what? Huh, buddy? Say hi. Hi. There's a good shot. Anyways, it is just doing amazing. We've been plucking the flowers off and drying them. So maybe we can make some punch or tea or something with that. I'm not too sure what we'll do with it. Out here, we've got some more type of vines. We've got the red Mandevilla, if I'm saying that correctly. And we're hoping to get these 2 to trellis up and over the archway here as you come in. So we're gonna cross our fingers on that. They should look great next year maybe. Picked up a little bird feeder and one of those solar fountains, and the birds love it. So we got Super Sweet 100, Super Sweet 100. Oh, Crimson Kush beefsteak. Didn't do very well, it's just too hot on this side of the house. And just a regular cherry tomato and a black cherry tomato. And this is a California Wonder bell pepper. Hey, put that back. You put that back. You little fart. And these are starts that we started that we were trying to put in the ground, but we ended up running out of space, and the sun has just been destroying them. Like you saw on some of the cucumbers on the other side of the yard, it just was so hot this year, they just didn't grow. A whole tray of Black Beauty eggplants that got fried. Here's another one of our Tiny Tim tomatoes that got so transplant shocked when we brought it outside. That one didn't do so well. Oh, and this may have the most vibrant purple I've ever seen in my life when it's healthy. But it's just been getting smoked by the sun. This thing looks like you're staring straight into a 48-inch fluorescent black light tube. It was just I'd never seen a color like that. And here's our hanging basket we did. And we put 3 different kinds of flowers in it. This one had big, beautiful flowers coming off the top here, but it's past. That's a perennial. These are going to be annuals, so we'll have to get rid of these this year and put in more. Then as you come around, we got a black cherry tomato again, and I forgot all about these yesterday. I don't guess they sat in the sun all day. But like I said, I have not enjoyed these really. But this is probably a 6-foot plant right now, growing up my porch. All right, we got more flowers. Let's see, we got a stake here. This is called the Catharanthus roses. Yeah. I'm not good with that. Anyway, a couple onions. Those are the bulbs that we put in. Just left them. These are the ones we had not cut because we made powder out of the others. More flowers. This is gonna be, California Wonder Bell Pepper. And I think a jalapeno. All right. Say hi. Hi. Say hi to the camera. Hi, camera. All right, that is our tour of the garden this year. It is beginning of August, and I think we've mostly failed, but we've learned a lot, so we're hoping next year comes out a whole lot better. Thanks for joining and following along, and keep tuned. We're planning on trying to get some more videos put up.